Hey everyone, it's me Joji, and today we're going to be talking about another Pokemon deck that I see is becoming very popular in Japan, and I'm guessing it's going to become popular here in the States. So just to prepare you guys, I did set this up. It is a proxy. There are some cards that are real, some aren't real, unfortunately. So you will see some of them, maybe the wording will be off or it just look kind of funny, but regardless, it is essentially, this is the deck. I think that won second place in the championships that just passed maybe about 2 weeks ago in Japan. So definitely worth checking out, especially when the cards are playable in the States. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and look at some of these cards. So I'll grab another one here. First off, we have Zacian V. So this is the Zacian V card they got, or deck that got second place in Japan. Like I said, you're running 4 Zacian Vs. These are going to be your main attackers, with Brave Blade doing 230 damage. And that is a lot of damage for just 3 energy. Keep in mind you can't attack your next turn, but either way, great card to start off with. When I played in the pre-release, this guy came in handy a lot. If he was the first card up, essentially I would just play the cards I needed and then use Intrepid Sword to grab 3 cards and potentially power it up for the next turn I had. So that's going to be your main attacker. Next up we have Lucario Melmetal. We're only running 2 of these, mainly because again Zacian V is going to be our main attacker, and just because Lucario Melmetal doesn't hit for a lot, only does 150 damage and uses 4 energies. We're mainly going to be using this guy for his Full Metal Wall GX. So again, what it does is if you have basically 2 energies for it, you take 30 less damage and you will discard all the energies attached to the opponent's active Pokemon. So you can use this when they've powered up with some potentially dangerous cards like Mew Mew with its Rainbow or its Aurora energy once that comes out and it's playable. Or, I don't know, maybe there's too many fire cards on a Braxian, or maybe a Victini V or Torkoal V, who knows? You can use the Full Metal Wall GX to get rid of those cards for just 2 energies, and it helps power up the Zacian V so it doesn't get knocked out so easily. So, nice card to have. Again, you're going to be using it for attacking too much. More or less, you're going to be using it for Full Metal Wall GX. Next up, we have Cobalion GX. Now this guy is not too big of a player. He wasn't in the Japanese version, but I added him in because I don't have the Duskmane Necrozma, and I don't really see the appeal to it. It is only a 1 prize and it does 200 damage, but this guy does a decent amount for 2 as well. It does 111 if you have a Stadium in play. Also Iron Roll GX, a great way to stall if you need to, and you haven't been able to get your Full Metal Wall GX or Lucario at all. Also Metal Symbol, really helpful because you won't have to worry about any of those pesky special conditions like sleep, paralysis, or poison, because basically if you attach an energy to it, or if it has an energy attached to it, it won't be affected by those special conditions. Great way to circumvent some of those pesky things like Alolan Raichu and regular Raichu. Now we have a Mew. Now this is more or less just to protect your bench for the other cards we'll see in a bit. So could be the Cobalion, could be some of the other cards we'll see in a second. Just to protect, really. Because there are some decks that are going to be coming out that are going to be very focused on attacking your bench. Next up we have a Mimikyu. It's one of the cards we want to protect with our Mew. Its Shadow Box will pretty much negate the effects of any Pokemon that has damage counters on it, specifically GX, so we want to make sure our Cobalion doesn't get hit, but we want to make sure that their Pokemon get hit. So if they're running Mew Box, say goodbye to the Mew Box's ability. So it's really mainly for that, especially since Mew and Mewtwo GX is getting a new version of its deck where it's only Psychic Pokemon, so they're really going to come in handy. We have a Absol. This is just to make it a little bit harder for them to switch in and out. It is going to add only 1 retreat cost, but most of these cards, keep in mind, already have 2 or 3, so adding another one is going to be a lot more annoying, and also stops people from using Jirachi as easily because, well, add the extra retreat cost to it, you can't use the skateboard anymore. So, let's see. We have our last Pokemon here, Oranguru. Now, this is a new Oranguru, and people are loving it. I don't know if this is the exact translation, but Shadow Cleverness, as it says, you swap card in your hand for the one on the top of your deck. You don't get to see or choose, you just have to swap it whatever it is. But they may come in handy. Maybe you don't want to have like a 4th Zacian V in your hand or whatever. You can switch it out for whatever was next in your deck. So, great way to just be able to have more options to play with. Alright, let's move on to some of the supporter cards. We're going to have 4 copies of Professor's Research. Now, this card, great card, honestly, it's replacing Dedenne GX. I mean, obviously, that way you don't have to run Dedenne GX and have to worry about holding a spot open for it on your bench. You can just play these instead. So, really glad. We'll probably see Dedenne stay high priced for a while, but Professor's Research is definitely going to lower that price now that this thing essentially is a Dedenne that you can use on your turn instead. Next card is Marni. So this is going to be very advantageous for us if we want to get some cards back into their deck, or at least at the bottom, so they can't pull them up so easily. Maybe they pulled, I think it gave the example last time, maybe they pulled some stuff for a Malamar deck and they haven't been able to evolve. Play this Marni and it disrupts them for a turn or two. Next up, we have 2 copies of Malolana. So this is going to help keep our Zacian V and our Melmetal alive for a while. It does heal, and if we need to, we can just use it for the regular retreat. We have next a single Cynthia Caitlin. This is more for grabbing our Marni, Malolana, and Professor Research back from our discard pile if we need to. We have another trainer card, but I don't think it's going to be as important, and I might even switch it out. It is the Erica's Hospitality. We don't have a lot of draw support here. We do have Oranguru to help us grab an extra card, but we really don't have anything other than Professor's Research as, I guess, a trainer-specific draw supporter. We do have Erica's Hospitality, but again, it is dependent on you having less than 4 cards and them having a lot more cards in play. So maybe they only have 3 Pokemon in play. You're only going to be getting 7. It's usually better if they have a larger deck. Alright, let's move on to some item cards. First up, we have, missing 1, 4 copies of Quick Ball. Now, this is going to be your main thing to use to grab all your cards here. We don't have to worry about any evolutions, so this only pulls basic Pokemon. So that's really great. We can pull our Zacians, we can pull Cobalion, Lucario Melmetal, Absol, pretty much everything we play. So, not bad of a card, really great to have. We're going to see a lot of these played in the future, and I expect it to be played a lot, especially with Mewbox, and that you can use it to grab a Pokemon and discard a Pokemon for its ability. We also run 4 copies of the new Metal Saucer. Now, this is going to be really great. So if we use Quick Ball or we use Professor's Research to discard, or maybe even Malolana and Cynthia Caitlin to discard a Metal Energy, we can use these cards to grab that Metal Energy from our discard pile onto any of our Metal Pokemon. So this guy, or this guy. You want to power up any of those Pokemon and get them ready for attacking? This is your thing. You can especially use this for Lucario Melmetal if you need to power up its GX attack on the second turn. You attach and then you use Metal Saucer to get one of those energies back onto it. And we also run 4 copies of Custom Catcher. Now, I'm not too sure if I want to keep using Custom Catcher now that Pokemon Catcher is back in rotation. The only reason I may not is because, again, Pokemon Catcher uses a coin flip to determine if you can pull the Pokemon or not. It doesn't matter which type of Pokemon, like Great Catcher, I think it's specifically only Pokemon GX. This you can use anything, but you do have to have 2 to use that ability. Pokemon Catcher, you only need 1, and you could run 4, but it is, again, a toss of the coin, so I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm probably going to discuss this with a couple people, and then maybe from there decide whether I want to switch these out for a copy, a 4 set of Pokemon Catcher. We have next our switches. your basic switches. For this deck, I decided I'm going to be playing 4 different copies of it. Nothing too special. This is obviously just to switch Pokemon in and out to help some combos. Let's see here. We have 3 copies of Crushing Hammer. Now, you're going to want to use this to slow down your opponent, and honestly, that's really all it's for, but it can help if you need to stall them from retreating because of Absol, or if you want to just stall them so they can't attack you and knock something out. Great way to disrupt your opponent. Then we have, a little too many, 2 copies of Tag Call. Of course, this is going to be used for getting your Lucario Melmetal, your Cynthia Caitlyn, or Malolanas. Those are the only ones we have, so 2 is more than enough for this deck. We're running out of space here. Just going to go ahead and set it right here. Hopefully it's still kind of visible. You know what, actually, let's throw it back here. I think this corner is going to be kind of out of the shot, but oh well. We have Great Catcher here. As I mentioned earlier, this only pulls our GX Pokemon, but GX Pokemon are going to still be played in this, or I guess in this time for now until the rotation sometime in the summer, so great to still have a single copy of Great Catcher there. So we do run 3 copies of Metal Frying Pan. Now this is to help our Zacian V and our Lucario Melmetal take some damage, or just tank some damage I should say, by limiting it to 30 more or less, and it removes the weakness, so we don't have to worry about those pesky fire decks. So this makes it up to 60, so Zacian V could take up to, that's 280 damage until it gets knocked out. Not bad card. Honestly, I might switch maybe one of these or something else from here out for maybe a Metal Core Barrier, who knows. Then we do have another item, it's the Air Balloon. Great way to switch Pokemon in and out. Zacian V, or if we need to Cobalion. Great way, and also if we need to put Rangaroo or anyone else, this will help us make it easier to pull it back in. Then I think we are running 2 copies of Chaotic Swell. This, I'm not too sure about. I think maybe switching this with possibly 2 Power Plants might be a better idea, and then we would probably have to remove Cobalion GX. But that way we don't have to worry about Mewbox and some other things that rely on their abilities. That would also circumvent Dedenne GX. Not sure what else is really out there that we have to worry about that when it comes to abilities, but I really didn't think we needed Viridian Force or anything else. So Chaotic Swells. And then we are running 11 energy. So that is this deck here in all its glory. The Zacian V Lucario Melmetal deck that took 2nd place at the championships in Japan. Honestly, I like how this is played. I did replace, of course, the Cobalion for the Dustmane, and honestly, I'm thinking of getting rid of the Chaotic Swells and this Erika's that they use in their deck, but overall, I think it's a really great deck. You should try it out if you get the cards for it. And I mean, hopefully I do get the cards for it. We are missing 3 Zacians, 2 Professors, 1 Marni, 3 Quick Balls, all the metal saucers. We actually need to get some copies of Crushing Hammer, the Oranguru. Geez, we have like a lot of missing. I think we're also missing the Metal Frying Pans. Not too many cards retrospectively, but actually also Absol. But if you can build this, I definitely suggest trying it out for a bit before you actually run it in a tournament. Get used to it. Obviously, just like any other deck, you want to do some like practice rounds, get to know it, so you know how to combo this well, which we'll go into in a second. So let's say you went first and you were able to pull a Zacian V from your first hand, played that as your active, and this is the rest of your hand. So you got a couple things you could do here. So in my opinion, first thing you probably want to do is use Quick Ball. Hope you get a metal saucer with that Professor's Research, and we're going to try and find our Lucario Melmetal. Just take a quick look, see how many of the metal saucers we have. Alright, I think I only saw 2 or so in there. Alright, so grabbed our Lucario Melmetal. Let's go ahead and play it. not sure if we're going to be able to get this powered up or anything. But let's go ahead and use our professor's research, discard the rest of our hand, and let's hope we get a metal energy going. Or not metal energy, I keep saying metal, but I mean metal saucer, there we go. Let's see, that's 5, 6, 7. So we do have another Zacian V we could play, but let's go ahead and start powering up this guy here. Shoot. I guess we could probably do our metal saucer to get that metal energy onto Lucario Melmetal. Unfortunately, we won't be able to until the next turn use either its LucMetal GX or Zacian. I think if you wanted to, you could probably play another Zacian, but maybe wait on it. Probably attach this onto it. And from here, more than likely use Intrepid Sword to check out and see if you can attach any other cards. Fortunately not this time, but we are going to be able to set up our Cobalium V the next turn. We have a tag call and a switch to set up our LucMetal GX next turn with this other energy. So not a bad way to start a turn if you can get this startup going. I know this is very what if, but you are running 4 Zacian, so you could just play a Zacian and just use its Intrepid Sword to try and get it powered up for the next turn. Because more than likely, if they're not playing a fire deck that's very accelerative, they're going to be able to power up way before they can. Alright, let's say you're going second and you were able to pull a Lucario Melmetal, which is usually what you want to do if you're going second. What we want to do is probably get rid of this energy and then power it up by switching this into our bench and then switching it back out to use LucMetal Wall. If they didn't have any energies, I would say just keep it in and just play this and use LucMetal GX just to get that 30 going. But if you need to, you could always switch it back out and use that metal saucer to get it back in. So let's get a Cynthia. You know what, let's get another. Do we have another Lucario Melmetal in here? Maybe I just missed it. We do. Let's just get both of those just to be safe. I think what we're going to do is use the Cynthia Caitlyn to discard that energy. And I think that might be the play there. So, playing the other Lucario Melmetal, Cynthia Caitlyn away the metal energy. 1, 2, 3. We did get another metal energy, so if we wanted to, we could use metal saucer, attach this, and then because of the metal saucer, attach another one. And we could either use the Malalana or the switch here to put it back, or put this one into play instead, and then use the LucMetal GX. Well, I guess we could play this as well, since we did pull it, and then use LucMetal GX. You get that 30 damage resistance, and then later on you can play the metal frying pan for an extra 30 for 60 total. So not bad. You already have this powered up to 2, and if you wanted to, you could still keep powering it up if you wanted to eventually attack with heavy impact. So guys, that is my take on the Zacian V Lucario Melmetal deck. I think it's going to be pretty good. Again, there are some things that I would change about this deck. Specifically, the Erika's made those 2 Chaotic Swells. Not sure what exactly. Maybe that Cobalion as well. If I am able to get that Dustmane Necrozma, who knows? Maybe I'll put that in, because it does do 200 damage, which is pretty good. But other than that, it's pretty simple. You just want to power your Zacian V. This is your main attacker. And then you want to complement damage resistance with LucMetal GX and those metal frying pans. If you wanted to, you could use the metal core barriers, but keep in mind it's a 1-turn use. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What would you guys add to this? What would you switch? Are there any combos that you think you could probably pull off with this deck that would help other people other than the 2 that I showed off? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also ring that bell so you can get updates on more Pokemon TCG videos and some more Sword and Shield videos coming up next week. And as always guys, thanks for watching.